Greetings, it is I, Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue discussing the various campaign settings within the D&D universe, from AD&D and beyond. I've started with Spelljammer. The D&D adventure is in space, and we still have a lot to talk about with Spelljammer that you need to know about when you're basically playing in this world system. Little details which will be important for you. We just talked about the crews and passengers and maintaining them on your long space voyages. There's something else that's very important to maintain. Your ship. Your ship is going to be important on maintaining for these long voyages. Let's talk about repairing your ship in particular, because the fact is, most of the time, if you have the right tools or materials, you can repair your ship anywhere in space. You can take damage in combat. You could hit something. You could even take damage while trying to traverse an atmosphere of some kind of planet you're visiting. Regardless, damage is probably going to happen to your ship along the way at some point. So yes, repairing is a great idea. But when we talk about repairing, we should really talk about each component of the ship that's being damaged. First off is the hull, of course. The hull is probably going to be a very important one for your ship. It's the basic structural stability of it and keeps it from falling apart. Now, you of course need the proper materials, you need the proper tools, and then you just need some time to work on the ship. And the fact is, you can repair a ship in wild space. It's just that having access to stone or wood or anything like that, it's limited when you're out in just space. You have to be either pick things up in a civilized area as you're going to repair it, or have it with you. Now, it costs you about 50 gold worth of material to repair one hull point of damage to your ship. And about 250 gold's worth of material takes up 1 ton of cargo on your ship. So you can see how cargo can get eaten up very quickly with these repair materials. You're probably not going to be repairing a huge amount of damage to your ship. Now, a crew of 5 workmen that you're going to be assigning to this can take 1 week to heal 1 point of damage. Effectively, they'll do their work in a week. Now, this only works as long as you are no less than 50% health. If you are taking more than half of the hull damage to your ship, you can't do this. You need a dry dock. You need an actual place to repair the ship that you can go to. And the fact is, if you're having repair, you need some kind of shipwright with you. Someone that can give the people the instructions they need to do the right job. Just normal crew could repair the ship, but it's going to be a poor repair job. And there is a disadvantage to that. You increase your critical threshold by 1. Effectively, it becomes easier to critical your ship because of this poor repair job that's been done on you. Now, the large weapons that you're going to have on your ship, they can be damaged, especially when a critical kind of attack occurs to your ship. They're oftentimes one of the ones targeted by the attack. When they're getting hit by this attack that's basically disabling them, you have to make a save, depending on the type of material it is and the type of attack it is. If the save fails, then that actual weapon is destroyed. It can't be repaired, it's gone forever. If it makes a save, well, you're still disabled, but now you can actually repair it. It has the option of being repaired. This is going to require a crew of 5 skilled workers to work on it that you're going to have to bring together. And the amount of time and money it's going to take, or money worth of materials, and is reliant on the type of weapon it is too. So each weapon will have how much it will be to repair from disabled, and how long it will take you. How long will oftentimes require a dice roll to see, how many days it exactly is. Now, let's say you don't have enough money. You can cut costs on the repairs. You can actually reduce it by 25%. The disadvantage of this, it takes twice as long as it normally would to repair it with the same crew. A skilled weaponsmith is required to actually do this. If they don't have one, the skilled crew that's working is going to be rolling their proficiency to see if they're successful or not on the repairs. Otherwise, if you do have that overseer, they can roll it, and that makes it much of an easier difficulty, because usually that person's going to be much more skilled at weapon making than the random crew you've assembled. Now, the unfortunate part about repairing weapons is it takes up cargo space a lot. 1 ton of cargo space is only 100 gold pieces worth of materials for repairing these large weapons. So they're a lot harder to store than, let's say, the materials for repairing the ship. That's a lot more you can fit into that ton. Now, other things can occur. You can lose crew. That's actually something that can happen in battle. That's a type of damage that it can occur to your ship. Now, if you had a crew of undead, usually you can bring bones or something to raise new undead to replace it. I mean, that's a little easier. But for people, that becomes difficult. Unless you have excess crew, extras just in case, you're going to have a problem of running out of crew when people start to die from things that are going on. Now, your ship can be holed. Basically, a hole can be kind of broken into it. This can be annoying, and it can be a point of entry for different things depending on the atmosphere, venting it, various things like that. It can have problems for your ship, just in general. It's just the same as repairing the hull to repair a hold part of the ship. A hold part of the hull. The only difference is it's effectively repairing 5 hull damage. So that's how much money it costs to do it, how much material it costs to do it, and how much time it will take to do it. Now, fire can be dangerous also. Not only does it eat up your air, because it's burning off your air, but it causes damage to your ship in the form of hull damage. It can be repaired just like any other hull damage, just as soon as the fire is out, though. If the fire is still burning, you really can't start repairing it. That doesn't work. Now let's talk about Spelljammer shock, which is effectively disabling your ship in a way. Loss of your Spelljamming helm is the most critical thing beyond breaking the ship in half, so it's more than one piece that can occur to your ship. Effectively, Spelljammer shock is when your Spelljammer, the person, your helmsman, goes into like a comatose state from getting a shock, which can occur during the course of a battle. That's one of the types of criticals that can occur to you. Now there's a couple of ways to handle this. The easiest way is to have extra spellcaster. Someone else that can take over the helm. And this is useful anyway because the same person can't be piloting a ship for 24 hours. They have to take a break. So either your ship has to stop and not be moving, or you'd have at least 2 people on board that can pilot that can use that helm. Now, other more unique types of helms, not just your traditional spelljamming helms, well, they're more dangerous when you talk about getting into the shock range. Usually, when something happens to the helm that it can't be used quite the same, they usually either have to be out of luck or have another type of helm. And that can get expensive to have a replacement helm, like a backup helm that someone could use just in case. Now, there are other types of criticals which can cause damage to your ship. There's one that can cause your ship to shake. Others that can cause temporary losses in SR or maneuverability. The thing about these is they are temporary. Granted, loss of maneuverability or loss of SR can actually result in your ship being hit by the enemy. If you're fighting someone else or fighting a creature, it can result in more damage, but it by itself is just something temporary that you don't need to repair. It's just at a certain point when your ship is able to get out of combat, you basically can put things back together in order and repair it. You were jostled in a way that caused some distress to the way you were maneuvering your ship or using your ship. It can be repaired. So that's it for today. I introduced you to some more information in Spelljammer. I talked about pretty much repairing your ship, because maintaining your ship in space is very important. Maintaining it with the proper people and gear to repair it and tools, because your ship will have a standard complement of tools. It's usually going to be. So you could do some repairs in space. There are other tools that might be useful, but your ship is probably not going to travel with them because it's impractical, and you're probably not going to have a place to really put it on the ship. Granted, in the long run, every ship will probably need a dock somewhere. Not only because you talk about getting air, or food, water, getting repairs in case it gets really damaged or something happens to it. These can be requirements that a little bit of extra loving, a little bit of extra help can go a long way. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about some new types of equipment for both people and ships that are important to talk about, and move into discussing docking at a port and what that means to your ship in general. So, if you have any questions, comments, anything you say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's just for the channel, the Empire, and the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you can always check out my Patreon. Link in the description below. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.